Well, hello. It's Wednesday. It's almost 2 o'clock, and I should have combed my hair again, but I say that every week, don't I? And I can never find the camera on this video. So here we go. Hi, guys. Wednesday. So, plenty of things to show you. So, the first thing I have released since I saw you last is the Parapet Square. Now, this is crocheted in 3 colors of With Love worsted weight yarn from Red Heart, and it is part of the Moogly Moogly blog CAL this year. She does a crochet along every year that are Afghan squares, 12-inch Afghan squares, and people make them all or make some of them, and they pick their own colors and all that kind of stuff. So this was my contribution to the CAL this year. So of course you can get the pattern on my blog, but if you want to know more about the CAL, then go over to mooglyblog.com, and I will put a link in the description below once I'm done taping. Now the other cool thing about this stitch, it's a multiple of 4 stitches plus however many I told you when I told you to chain. But once you get the hang of this stitch, you could make a whole blanket out of this. You can make a baby blanket out of this. It's a 12-inch square because since it's part of the crochet along, it needed to be a 12-inch square. But it is a stitch pattern that you can learn and use for other things. So this is the first thing that has come out since I saw you last week. The second thing that has come out since I saw you last week is this. Just sit way back now. Here we go. This is the Color Block Patchwork Pillow. So this is part of the Little Gifts SAL Sew Along that is produced by Marie at Underground Crafter, and I'll put a link to that also in the blog. So what I did for this is I cut 5 of the colored squares and then different sized strips in the neutral so that I could make them go on an angle. So it looks really fussy, but it's not, because you're working in strips. It's a matter of sewing the, hi Kim, it's a matter of sewing the colored blocks to the strips and then the strips together and then the front to the back. Now also I have done this with a zipper because I like to be able to take my pillow forms out of the pillow cover, because invariably I have spilled Diet Coke on the pillow. So you could also do it without a zipper if you just wanted to sew the pillow on the inside. But the instructions for this are on the blog, and once again I will put a link to that. So I've been sewing, I've been crocheting, and now we get to the name of the video this week, which was how many buttons. So let me tell you a little story. There is a sewing store near here called Fran's Sewing Circle, and I like it a lot. A lot of quilters shop there, but as you know, quilting and sewing, not always the same thing. And I've always liked them because they had a big selection of buttons. They had some fabrics that I could use in my stuff that's not quilt related, and they're very nice. I took a class, I'll have to show you this next week. I took a class there last week on making rope bowls, those little bowls that you make out of a little cotton cord. Next week, man, next week I'll get out to that. So I go to Fran's Sewing Circle when I need buttons, and I'm finishing up a new book that's about baby stuff, and I needed a bunch of baby buttons. So I go in and I say hi to the nice ladies there. And I say, hey, and they say, oh, can I help you? I said, no, I'm just button hunting. And they said, button hunting? And I said, yes, I need some buttons for a sweater. And they said, well, we are, what's the word? They're not discontinuing their button, but they are editing their selection down. So they had 4 probably foot square cubes of buttons that they were not going to carry that style anymore. And they were 25 cents a card. So I went to buy a couple of cards of buttons, and I got maybe carried away. So, if you ever wanted to know what 221 cards of buttons look like, this is it. I tell you what, I lost my darn mind. But they only wanted 25 cents a card. And, you know, buttons can be expensive. You know, some of these cards are a couple of bucks, but some of them are $3 or $4. I got some gold-plated ones and, you know, all kinds of little tiny ones. And so I got to figure out what I'm going to do with all of those buttons. So that has been an adventure. And the other thing that amuses me in my life, that probably won't amuse you guys at all, but I think it's funny. I have been wearing the same color nail polish, nail lacquer, nail varnish, whatever you guys call it, depending on where you're looking from, for the last 3 years, except for special occasions, because since I do how-to videos for a certain company, it was required that I only wear clear or this color, and my nails are getting ratty, and I can't wear the clear anymore because my nails just look terrible because I get them done constantly because, you know, the video camera's already on top of them. So recently I got permission to change my nail color. So I have nails that are not pink. And while this does not amuse you at all, I acted like a kid in a candy store because I got to go into the nail salon and pick whatever color I wanted. And it was awesome. So this was my other big celebration for the week. I've been doing a lot of gardening. Which is hysterical because I'm a city person and I don't know what I'm doing, and I have cuts all over my arms, and I'm finding them everywhere. I had this enormous overgrown rose bush in the front yard, and it was on an elderly wooden arch, and every time the wind blows, which happens a lot, I live in the hurricane belt, the arch would bang up against the house and the house would rattle. And you know how when you move to a new place and you're not quite used to the ambient noises, so your brain doesn't filter them out. You're like, oh my god, I'm going to die. Somebody's trying to break in and kill me. So I texted the landlord late one night and said, I understand that you don't want the rose bush to die, but that pergola is going because it just took 5 years off my life. So I went out there on Sunday and took it all apart and bought a wrought iron trellis from Home Depot, put that up, cut the roses back, cut all the dead wood off, re-twisted it. I'm telling you, I don't know what kind of a rose it is because I'm not a plant person, but it has like really long, it's a trailing rose, is that what they're called? Climbing rose, it's a climbing rose. So I swear to goodness, no exaggeration, some of those strands were 2 meters, 2 yards long, and every time I turned around, it was attached. So I've noticed every time I get in the shower, I find these little scratches, but I find them all over. They're on my ankles, they're on my knees, they're on my thighs, they're up here. But it's because the tree kept trying to attack me every time I moved. So I'm really hoping I didn't murder the tree, the rose bush, just because the landlord would be sad. But the stupid wooden pergola is gone, and hopefully the next time we have wind, I will not wake up in the middle of the night worrying about my imminent murder. So that's all that's going on over here. I'll put some linkage in the description box below so you can click on some things that I talked about. What is coming up? I have a video coming out soon. A lot of people, like, they do my Arches cowl, which is very popular, and they don't quite get how to set up a Mobius in crochet when you're starting from the center out. So I'm going to make a little quick video on that. That should be up hopefully tomorrow. And then I'm going to go sew buttons on sweaters, and I'll see you guys over on Facebook, or I'll see you later, or definitely I'll see you on the blog. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Doesn't want to end today. There we go.